Ferenc lép hátra. Ő engedi Vége a találkozónak! Bajnok a körmend, kedves nézőink!
Ezek után, hogy 9-1 a play-offba, azt hiszem, nincs miről beszélni.
Hello everyone, this is the 33 episode of RÁBAsket Podcast. Hello, and we are here with Tommy. Hi Tommy.
Hi.
So, as you can hear, I'm speaking English because this is the first time that we have an international guest here. But a guest with whom you are very familiar with. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Del Monte-Madison. Hi, Nickel.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we are grateful for having you. So, in the next few minutes, we will ask a few questions to Nick, because we are very fond of him and we are very interested what he is doing right now. You arrived to Körmend before the internet age, you know. We did not know too much about you before your arrival, and maybe you also didn't know much about Körmend or even Hungary. So my first question is: did you have any family members who played basketball?
Good question. My father, but my father didn't play past high school. So he didn't go to college, but he was a pretty solid player in high school in the state of Alabama. That's pretty much it. My father, now that I think of it.
Nice.
The other athletes in my family were football players. But as far as basketball, my father was the only one that competed.
And you mentioned football. Did you play any other sports in high school or college, or just basketball?
Well, as a kid, actually, I played every sport. I ran track. I was a sprinter. I ran the 100-yard dash, 200-yard dash, about 100 relay. I played baseball. I played pitcher and first base. I played football, American football. I was a quarterback, and I'm also a receiver, wide receiver, and of course basketball, and any other sport. Develop different skills with those different sports that could help me at any given moment.
And what were your first impressions of Körmend? The town itself, not the people, like a small city. What do you remember?
I knew nothing about Körmend. I knew nothing about Europe. I had never been to Europe before I boarded the plane to go to Körmend. And I didn't know what to think, to be honest with you. I had spent a lot of time growing up without my parents in high school. So moving to another country wasn't a big issue for me. It wasn't a problem for me to be alone away from my family, because I had spent several years away from my family while I was in high school in California, and my mother, she was in Alabama. So the distance wasn't a problem, but it was a culture shock. It was a culture shock, number one, because of the language, of course.
Yes.
So it was extremely difficult for me in the beginning because I didn't understand anyone. And it was extremely difficult for me to develop friendships. And it was extremely difficult for me to express myself. And
of course. Of course. Yeah, I can imagine.
That for me, and I was lonely, very lonely, because of course Charles, he was there before me, but Charles had friends and he understood the language, and also um, he had a comfort level that I didn't have. So when we weren't together, I was lonely, and so it was very difficult for me in the beginning. And I was very close to wanting to go back to the U.S. Because I was so lonely. And yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah,
that, of
yeah.
course.
We can imagine. Born and raised in Kermend, yes, it could have been a difficult time for you because it was far away and yeah, maybe a big culture shock. Yeah. But in
Right.
your first games, you quickly gained the trust of the fans because you started the score immediately, over 20 points most of the time, and we won the Hungarian Cup, and it was going well. Then Eddie got an injury. So, what do you remember
Right.
about having to carry the team as the only foreign player during the playoffs?
Although I enjoyed the first season, I enjoyed the time um, competing for the Cup championship as well as the Hungarian championship. But what I would give anything to have an opportunity to have Eddie on the court with me, because I was more comfortable with him because he was such a good threat. He's such a good player, and um, it was important that they give attention to him. And if they didn't, then he would do extremely well. And I didn't have that. So it was easier for the defense to focus more on my skills and the things that I like to do. And I think they were successful in making things more difficult for me. I was still learning the Hungarian players and their style of play, and I was still learning how to play together with them. And I think because I was a bit immature, that I could have done better with being able to use my teammates more, so that I wouldn't draw so much attention on myself. Because once they learned about some of my habits on the court, it made things difficult for me. And I don't think I truly used my teammates as much as I could have to make us a better team, all around team. That's the only thing that I kind of regret during that time when Eddie was hurt.
But still, we were a good team, and we competed in the International Cup, and there were some extremely interesting and good matches. Do you have any memories from the international matches?
I do. Those games were extremely interesting for me because they gave me an opportunity um, to measure myself against talent all throughout Europe, and gave me an opportunity to see the talent level just in specific countries. And so I truly enjoyed the different environments because there were some very challenging environments to play in. For example, when we were in Tbilisi in Georgia, or when we were in Yugoslavia. What's the name of the city we were in Yugoslavia? Um,
Podgorica.
yes, Podgorica.
Podgorica, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah, Podgorica, and those were very challenging environments. You know, you had the fans were smoking in the
Yes, yes,
arena.
yes.
The fans were extremely rowdy. So they were very challenging environments. And I think those environments helped me develop as a player to compete within the Hungarian championship. Things were a bit easier because of that experience.
And after this season, you returned to Kerman twice. The second was particularly successful in the 2001 and 2 season. We played in the finals again, and we missed the championship title by just 1 point. And how do you remember when you saw the last shot bouncing out from the rim? And what do you think? Which MTA team was better than the 96 or the 2001?
The 96 team was better. Um, I think when we had we had Lotzi, and Lotzi was a very, very valuable player for us under the basket. He was a great defender. He protected the basket, and he made the shots difficult for the other team. And I think in order for guards to be able to showcase their talent and to play at a high level, you have to have a threat underneath the basket, not only defensively, but someone that um, can allow us to have more space to operate on the floor when we have a very good post player like Lotzi. And so the second season, when we made it to the finals, we didn't have Lotzi. He was our competitor. And so we had a difficult time matching up with Lotzi under the basket because Charles played inside, outside. Um, and I think his true talent was more of a forward slash center. And Lotzi made it difficult for us when we played against Pox. But that game when we lost against Pox in Pox, the championship game, that's a game I'll never forget. And I'm still hurt about that game to this day because I feel like we had the better team. I feel like the referees made some very bad calls towards the end of the game when Lotzi he made a 3-pointer after the shot clock, and they allowed that basket to count. And if they didn't allow that basket to count, then there was a good chance we were going to win that game. And so my heart is still aching from the loss of that particular game. And I don't feel we played our best, but I feel we had the better team. And of course, with the mistakes of the referees.
Yes, yes, I was there also, and still, still a strong memory for me also. So yeah, but that's life. That's life. Let's talk about your incredible dunks, because you were not the first USA players in Körmend, but people are still talking about your dunks. Were there any tricks you practiced your dunks, or it was only an instinct?
Instinct. It was instinct. I think because I was gifted with the ability to explode very easy, and um, I don't know. I honestly, ever since I was a kid, dunking was something that was exciting to me. It was exciting to me because I was able to, finish in a forceful way. And so often I played with kind of a rage, so to speak. And in expressing that rage is when I would often attack the basket and learn different poetic ways to finish with a dunk. And I would do this, over the years since I was a kid so often that it just came natural to me.
We enjoyed them on the stands, you can imagine. So I was a kid,
I
and
appreciate it.
I loved it. I loved it. Who was your favorite Kerman teammate?
My favorite tournament teammate, doesn't matter whether they're a Hungarian player or
It doesn't
um,
matter.
one of the foreign players. My favorite tournament teammate. Wow. Um, I'll have to be honest, that's a very difficult question. And I say that's a very difficult question because Kurdeman's team was a very special team to me. And that team will always be in my heart, especially the '96 team, because we had such um, we had such our friendships. I think off the court and our personalities uh, meshed well together. I think we all just had a great time together, and we loved each other as people. And so that's why I really love that team, from the youngest players on up to the oldest players. And it's interesting because I remember when I arrived, Getty, Ishti, Rudy, Grazi, um, all of those kids were so young.
Yes.
Grabiner, all of those guys were
Yes.
young. They were young boys, teenagers. And over the years, I watched them become men. And it was so interesting to me to see some of the things that they were doing were some of the things that maybe they saw me do in practice or something like that. So I was very proud of those guys. And I was very excited to see all of their development. And I honestly can say that I didn't have a favorite. I loved them all. I loved them all because they all were great people. They all made me feel like a brother, and they were all they supported me, all of them.
And I think we saw this brotherhood, this friendship on the court also. So
Exactly,
yeah. So yeah.
exactly. And so that I think that was one of the best teams that I've ever been a part of, where we played well together, and we laughed, we joked, and we had fun together off the court as well. And I felt very welcomed and accepted on that team.
Do you have any memorabilia or something to remember at home from your years in Kermend?
Of course, I have I have almost every paper newspaper clipping. I have I have games on VHS tape, which obviously is a very old version. And I also have maybe 12, 12 games on DVD as well. But I've had some of those DVDs transferred to like um, the YouTube version, which is on YouTube as we speak. So yes, I have tons of memorabilia. I have bags full of it, articles and pictures.
Very, very, very nice. And also, this is good that there is the Facebook page called MTA Emléktár, which has some really, really good videos from the past. I think you are following it also. There are some very, very great diamonds what that page founds from those years, and also in the YouTube. So it is good sometimes to check back to those games. But you played in 6 other Hungarian teams, as far as I know well, and cities.
Yes.
Which one was your favorite after Kermend?
After Kurdiman, I have to say Pox. Pox was a great experience for me because we also, and Lotzi was my teammate. Lotzi Stigler. So I've always had a good time playing with Lotzi. But the American player on that particular team was also one of my favorite teammates to play together with after Charles, Terrence Davis. Playing with Terrence Davis also helped me become the best player that I could possibly be, because he challenged me and I was able to grow a lot as a player through practicing against Terrence Davis every day, because he played my exact position. So we competed against one another in that position every day and pushed one another. So that was also an exciting time in Pox when we won the cup.
And he was a great player, yeah. So he was a very skilled player.
He's a very good player. So we played similar. A lot of the things that a lot of our talents were pretty similar. And he's also a great person as well.
Now we are reaching to the final questions, Nick. So tell us about the current Nickel. What do you do for a living, if you can say it? How do you live your ordinary days?
I have a transportation company, a trucking company that I've been involved in for probably 8.5 years. I initially, when I returned from Hungary in 2007, I went back to college and I finished my degree. I finished my bachelor's degree. So I have a bachelor's degree in liberal arts. And then I went further and I finished my master's degree. My master's degree is in education and it emphasizes special education. So I worked with special needs kids. But I then later started coaching. I coached the elite level Nike AAU basketball teams. And on one of those particular teams, I actually coached Zion Williamson, but it was an Adidas team. So
Really?
during that
Oh,
time,
wow.
yeah, yes, when he was 15, I coached him. Um, and so eventually I had to stop coaching the travel teams because I wanted to develop a business that my daughters could benefit from. So for me, it made more sense for me to discontinue from working in the school system because I was thinking about ways that I can um, develop some generational wealth so that my daughters can benefit from my hard work. And so that's when I came up with the idea to start my own transportation company. And it's been 8.5 years. But I'm also pretty soon will be becoming a certified life coach. And I want to focus on athletes when it comes to life coaching and being a support system and teaching young men and women how to set goals and accomplish those goals and overcome a lot of the roadblocks that I had as an athlete coming up. And I want to teach them how to navigate those spaces so that they can be as successful as they possibly can. So I'll be starting my life coaching company within the next 2 to 4 months.
Oh, that's very nice and very nice from you,
Yeah.
and a very wide spectrum of coaching and transportation and life coaching. It's very interesting. So
Yes, yes.
so good luck with that. For the final question, do you have any message for our listeners, our great and crazy MTF fans?
I just want everyone to know that I miss um, everything about the big city of Curtiman. I look forward to visiting again someday. I would love to bring my daughters so that my daughters can get the full experience at the games. Um, I spent several years of my life wanting to come back to Curtiman, not as a player, but as a coach. That didn't happen. I dreamed of it, of leading the organization back to a championship as a coach, but it didn't happen. So I moved on. But understand that Ferdinand lives in my heart. It's like a second home for me, and I love and appreciate all of the support the fans continue to give me to this day. So that means a lot to me and my daughters when they see the support from the fans as well. It makes them happy to see that I was respected and I was loved the way that I still am in Curtiman.
We would love to see that, and I'm sure you will get a standing ovation. I hope that this will happen in the future. Nick, thank you very much. Thank you for inserting us into your busy schedule. Thank you for answering our questions, and we hope that we see you soon in Körmend. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well, Georgie and Tommy. Thank you guys again, and anytime that I can help you, no problem.
Thank you. Bye.